Hi everyone, Mrs. Labasso here. I'm going to be talking to you about Woodrow Wilson's presidency, and he is the third of the three progressives that we've learned about. We have Teddy Roosevelt, Taft, and now Woodrow Wilson, this guy right here. He's going to be our 28th president, leader of the progressive movement, and he's actually going to be president for our next unit, which is World War I. He supported strong government. He was also antitrust, and he wanted more freedom for small businesses. His new freedom attacked the triple wall of privilege, the tariffs, the banks, and the trusts. And he believed in capitalism and the idea of government not getting involved. You don't need to know the name of the Tariff Act, but he's going to cut what Taft did before. We talked about that. He's going to cut the tariff. The 16th Amendment to the Constitution will be passed during Wilson's presidency, and this gave Congress the power to collect an income tax. And you can talk to your parents or guardians. I'm sure they wish they paid a little less income tax. It's a graduated tax. What that means is the more that you make, the more they take. All right. And it was not in the original Constitution. They needed to amend it with the 16th Amendment, and that gave Congress the power to collect an income tax. The biggest thing that Wilson does, and the thing he's most remembered for, is the Federal Reserve Act. And that was passed in 1913. And basically what it did, it was create a banking system. You can see this primary document here. Prior to the Federal Reserve Act, each bank printed their own note or their own money, and not everything was accepted. So what he does is he sets up this Federal Reserve. It's going to insure money in the bank up to $150,000, and it's going to have a national currency. So the American dollar has changed, at least like the 20s and the hundreds, in order to prevent counterfeiting. But the dollar bill really hasn't. In fact, if you get out a dollar bill and look on a $1 bill, there is a circle on the front and there is a letter inside. And there are 12 different letters that it could be. It could be an A, it could be a K. And around the outside of that, it will tell you what bank it was printed at, which of the 12 Federal Reserve banks it was printed. It might say Bank of New York City. It might say Bank of San Francisco. But check it out if you have a $1 bill laying around, and you'll be able to see that. The next thing is the Federal Trade Commission. So this was a way to monitor business. It was just like an oversight and overseer of businesses, try to keep monopolies from not just forming, but from getting really, really strong. So those are the biggest things you need to know about what Woodrow Wilson stood for. In regards to how he handled the war, that is not something you need to worry about for this test. Okay, your test is Monday the 19th, all right? And these are the amendments that you need to know for the test. The 16th Amendment, collect taxes. 17th is the direct election of senators. 18th Amendment, banned alcohol. The 19th Amendment is women's suffrage or the right to vote. And you also know that the 21st Amendment is going to repeal the 18th. It's going to make alcohol legal again. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. The very last slide is just something to consider, something to think about. I try to make you guys think or wonder about things. And what I'd like you to think about, okay, right here, is were the progressives successful in making government more responsive to the will of the people? Okay, that's what I want you to think about. Battling Bob, Teddy Roosevelt, women's suffragists. Did they make the government do more? Yes or no? And if so, how? You don't have to answer that. It's just to get you to think about it. The more you think about questions and then the answers to those questions, it helps you to do well on tests because you plug in information. You think to yourself, oh yeah, women getting the right to vote, that definitely helped. Things like that, especially when we talked about women and minorities in this unit. If you want to go back to the beginning, I know there's 77 slides in this unit, but a lot of them are primary documents and pictures, especially like child labor. And if you scroll back, there's pictures of women suffragists like Alice Paul, Susan B. Anthony, So as a review, it wouldn't hurt you to go through the PowerPoint from the beginning and just kind of glance at each thing. You also have notes on your own. There is a Quizlet posted that has all the vocab, and there is an additional tab if you look where it says resources for the progressive era. You can check those out too, and you have all weekend to study. Friday, we will play a review game, and I think that will help you for the test as well. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out.